My father used to say, "Watch this man."
He's been cited by IGN, The Quartering, Timcast, The Daily Wire, Bounding into Comics, and even Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
As the insider WDW Pro recently speculated on.
Time and time again, he's broken big entertainment news live on the air.
I've been following WDW Pro and his track record for years. If you want to find out what's on the horizon for theme parks, Pro is where you go.
Let's check in on Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
Okay. I bypassed the compressor.
What did you do, Ray? Son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Now, he was okay, you know, after 6-7 weeks. Okay? You know, they get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
You know, it's the standard, what would George do?
I don't want you here.
So sorry, George, I didn't think it would go like this.
Fly, you fools.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Weird. Stay away from liquor, kids.
I have always liked Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
Now that's more like it, Mr. Wayne.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
The Force will be with you. Always.
That's how winning is done.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
That's what she said.
I am Batman.
If I won tonight, I would come home and we'd celebrate. Well, I'm coming home, we're celebrating. God bless you all.
Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to Provision 3D.
Alrighty, everyone, put on your coffee glasses. I'm going.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
You know that you've been taught the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yes, Paul.
Autobots, roll out.
I'm bringing the party to you.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money.
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
We're going to do it.
Leroy Dragon.
All right, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man.
Are you okay?
They'll never take.
freedom!
From the redwoods of California to the hills of Tennessee to the Rockies in the Sunshine State and Maine with that bright and shining sea. From coast to coast in North America, it's time for your host with the most, bringing you all the entertainment news that should be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the WDW Pro Show! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Swap sides with me, Vash. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pro Channel and the Pro Show. It has been it's been 2+ years in the making that the show has been in development, almost as long as Snow White has been in development. And it's going to be a dandy of a night. We've got many people joining our panel. And Vash, I'm excited to have you as the Wookiee co-pilot this evening. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, I wasn't doing that super well this morning, but fortunately, everything's cleared up, at least well enough. So I cannot wait to get into the show. Like you said, 2 years in the making here. There's been unbelievably hype surrounding what we're going to be covering, so this should be a lot of fun.
That's right. Now, folks, we're going to be getting to the Snow White review in just a few. It's not going to be right out of the gate. I want everybody to have their anticipation set to the correct level. And yes, it will be epic when we get there. And many of you have paid for us to go see this thing. And, well, you are punishers indeed. But we've got 2 stories we're going to hit first. The reason for that is some of our folks out there who are on different time zones, they're going to see the film. They're getting out of the theater. They're racing to get onto the show. And so we want to give them a few minutes to get there. We do have, though, I guarantee you, Vash, this is the man they all want to see. Every one of them. And I think that they're bad people for forcing him. No, I take that back. Let's find out from him what he thinks about it. Lorne, you've been to Snow White. We're not going to give the review yet, but Lorne, I'm happy to see that you are at least somewhat vertical. You're breathing, you're respirating. It's all good. Lorne, glad to see that you're here, sir.
Thanks.
Yeah, folks, it was that kind of movie. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. Vash, before we do, let's get some super chats up on the screen, sir.
Absolutely, I do believe that is a good idea. And speaking of grades, well, Green Hat with $5 has a grade D+ as a failing grade.
Well, that's Disney Plus, and it also seems to have a failing grade. We're going to talk about that, too, a little bit. The Disney shareholders meeting, I've got some additional thoughts that have come about after I've had some hours to think about it, dissect it, and look at what they're saying in the trades about it. And I'm not too happy with the way that the trades are covering. I think that Hollywood is very much overplaying some things. We're going to show it to you exclusively here. Can't wait to do so.
Absolutely. Cannot wait. And Tender Warrior. Can't wait to give out some WDW Pro memberships, 10 of them, in fact. Thank you so much, Tender Warrior 68, for that.
Thank you, Tender Warrior. No puppies were harmed in the making of that clip.
That is good. That's good. Looks like we have some new members as well to the channel. We have Lori M here to the potential level. We also have Daniel Palmer at the potential level. Let me see here. I think we have, Mega Combat at the profound level. Thank you so much for that. And Heather Reese at the potential level as well.
Welcome aboard to all of you. Happy to have each and every one of you. And by the way, folks, the new emoji is almost here. The polling ends tomorrow, so if you are a new member of the channel and you'd like to go vote on the next emoji to be released on the Pro Channel, get over there and vote on the community tab today.
Indeed,
all right, Vash, any other chats we need to get to before the news gets underway, sir?
Let's see here. Do we want to cover a couple of $10 real fast?
Let's do it, Vash. Let's go.
All right, Photon Empress with the $10. How much to make Lorne watch it again?
I get to weigh in on this.
You do now.
and I'll give you my account number directly.
Now, folks, what you don't know
What you don't know is that, and Lauren doesn't know this either, but I'm going to have to say this because now he's seen the movie and he was a good sport about it. Lauren and I are going to be getting together sometime in the near future. And Lauren, there is going to be caviar-covered tomahawk ribeye for you, sir, because you have earned it.
Save the tomahawk, or I'll take the tomahawk, save the caviar. I'm not a fan.
What about blue cheese, Lauren? Are you a blue cheese man?
Sometimes, under the right circumstances.
All right, blue cheese and garlic butter melted over that tomahawk ribeye. There we go.
Oh, now that sounds like a meal fit for a king, and we had a lot of that. And surprisingly, at that movie, Master Blaster 3000 with the $10. Just curious, how is Peter Dinklage's Toxic Avenger going to look as far as sales goes, concerning his take on people of his stature portraying quote freaks in films and media?
Well, let me tell you. Peter Dinklage put Disney in a hard place with this movie, and it is obvious. We're going to talk about it. I want to hold my thoughts until we get to the review, but Peter Dinklage definitely put Disney in a very difficult spot. There's one particular place in the movie where I look at it and I say, man, he hurt them bad. I can't wait to share and see what the other panelists think about it.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I think that'll conclude this session right here. Pro, we will never miss a super chat. However, Pro, let's go ahead and bring on the news.
That's right, folks. Let's get to the news. It never stops, and neither do we. And folks, this one that we're going to start off with, unfortunately, is a difficult news item to even cover. And yet we're going to go there because I think it needs to be said. However, as we get ready to go into this, let me say that I dreaded a wee bit because YouTube has been shutting the door down on anybody who touches this stuff. So we're going to wade into it carefully. And here we go. Folks, this is out of Variety, and you're going to notice that I'm going to say this. I'm going to read the Variety piece in a slightly different way than Variety has it posted. That's due to an algorithmic necessity in order for us to maintain a megaphone on this. And to give you some idea of the kind of pressure that can be placed, I'll just tell you that if we cover this outright and say things with the clarity you would wish for us to do and we wish to do, I would guarantee you that the outreach of the video, the viewership of the video would be something like 1/100th of normal. And the reason I can say that is because we've already experienced it. But here is the article, and hang with us. We're going to articulate it in a way that allows us to continue to have the signal that we do. Out of Variety, Jimmy Kimmel roasts the richest man on earth for claiming that his electric car company is being harmed because of quote-unquote neurological issues. And note that's different than what's in the quote slightly. The richest man called the electric vehicle company a peaceful company and said, I've never done anything awful. I think we just have there is some kind of neurological disorder thing going on here. It doesn't make any sense. Kimmel, who is a Disney employee, right? He gets paid by the mouse. He's a late night comic, and he's off the rails. I'm telling you, we're going to get to this in a minute because I think Kimmel should be fired. I really do. And I'm not calling for it. And I'm not boycotting, and I'm not calling for any campaign. And the panel can weigh in with what they think about it. But I think this is insane. I think that any company with any semblance of sanity would fire this man because I think he's going to do grave damage to the company. Anyway, here's what he said. Everybody pay attention. And as we read this, you're going to see, if you're watching this, you're going to know exactly why we have to change the way we're talking. Jimmy Kimmel, late night comic, fired back. Well, let me see if I can explain it to you. When you pull out a chainsaw to celebrate firing thousands of people, that's the people in the government due to Doge, they get mad. My God, little G. You do one, maybe two, and he insinuates the type of salutes he believes that the richest man on earth did. We here think that's insane, and it never happened like that. Everybody gets all bent out of shape. Incinerating a vehicle might not be great for the environment. I don't think that's what they had in mind when they invented the electric car. In Las Vegas yesterday, someone threw a special piece of not-so-burning love at an electric car service center. Some of those vehicles were decimated. One from the incendiary, and 4 because that's just what that brand does sometimes. And of course, that's just mocking someone because of their property being utterly destroyed. No one should be setting fires, says Kimmel. You could end somebody, you could delete somebody. The richest man might not care about other people, but decent Americans should. Now that's what Kimmel had to say. Before I go to the panel, though, I just want to also add that this is not the only person that Disney has their paying on their network who seems to go way too far. I would just remind you that Sunny Hostin is over there on the View still, and she has said some awful, terrible things. Legal notices, time after time, and she's so haughty, not H-O-T-T-Y, folks, no, H-A-U-G-H-T-Y, if that's a word, and I think it is. Play it on Scrabble, find out. But she's so haughty that she's even lecturing the head of the Democrat Party about why he's not virtuous enough. Now, I don't want to get into the politics of this. That is not where I want to go. And I'm going to be very assertive of that. What I am, I hope clear in what I'm saying here, and panel, you correct me if I'm wrong. It seems to me that the days of Disney letting people go when they go too far, that's over. And so long as Disney is not willing to say so long to people who don't just cross the line, but cross it 10 times over, I don't think there's any redemption for this company coming anytime soon. Gentlemen, what say you?
Yeah, this is a delicate situation, right? Because we have literal arsonists, and some people might even say, well, they're far more than that, and first starts out with terror and ends with ist and so forth. And so we have people who are literally not just going after dealerships, but going after people's private property in the name of whatever cause they have against Elon. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. We have, I think, the suspicion that there are, paid protesters involved in some of this stuff, which is a very interesting allegation to make. And we have, as Jimmy Kimmel himself, I guess, said right there, I mean, it could be a life and death situation where you are, lighting these vehicles that have huge batteries in them on fire for the purposes of taking your aggression out on Elon. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. And the fact that Disney is seemingly unwilling to rein that in when it comes to Sunny Hostin and Jimmy Kimmel is just despicable. So I think there's really sound critique here, Pro. I do think that they should be removed from air because this is just not a place you go.
It's gone too far, and there doesn't seem to be an adult in the room to say, no, you're not going to say this sort of thing. Listen, when CNN, and I know it's Scott Jennings, but still, it's CNN, when CNN comes out and says, your late night comedian is encouraging things that will harm people, like, you've gone too far at that point. And listen, it's not, put aside the world's richest man for a minute. Put aside the car brand. Put it all aside. What if a kid is next to the thing? And here you have a Disney person, Jimmy Kimmel. Here you have Jimmy Kimmel making light of it, seemingly getting to the edge of encouraging it. What if one of these nut jobs, because they hear Jimmy and think it's okay, what if they do this and there's a kid in the vicinity, or God forbid, there's somebody in the vehicle? I mean, this is terrible. Lauren, what do we need to do? Like, what is it that's going to cause Disney to finally wake up and say, no. We're like Jack Black when Tenacious D, when they went too far. What is it going to take for Disney, Lauren?
There is nothing except investor action that will do it. That's the thing. If they think that they can ride out whatever storms come, they're going to do so. They are ideologically oriented in one direction. But I would prefer to address Kimmel himself. He's a quisling. He's a cuck. He is a coward. This is a guy who made his bones on the Man Show with Adam Carolla.
Indeed.
Because that was the thing to do that was cool and made him popular and money at the time. And once that became uncool, he immediately sided with what I would call the other side and revealed his true colors, which is that he'll go any way the wind blows to try and remain relevant, and that's the most uncool thing that you can do. He has made himself irrelevant by being this kind of a coward. So I don't have any respect for him. I think fewer and fewer people do. And, you know, it's a shame, but some people don't have a spine, and he's one of them.
He sure doesn't. And Disney needs to get one fast. Now, on the Sunny Hostin issue with The View, you know, she's put them in the position where they actually have to force her, essentially, to come out and read these legal notices over and over. Her husband is under investigation for health insurance fraud as a doctor in a RICO investigation. I mean, these are the people that Disney continues to platform. And folks, listen to me and listen very carefully. I'm not saying that Disney should not platform people for political views. In fact, I think that with rare exception, that should never be done. You've got to have some real extremist takes for that to be the take that I have. Rather, what I'm saying is that what Kimmel is doing and saying is it's not humorous, it's not funny, it's dangerous. It's putting lives in danger, and it is deplorable and felonious. The other thing I would say is that when it comes to Sunny Hostin just doesn't deserve the gravitas of the moment of being on live television, because she continues to say things which no sane person would ever say to millions of individuals. Never, ever, ever. And yet this is what Disney does. And this is why this is a company I think that needs to be held to more account. The idea that they get to go out with the shareholders meeting and hide all the virtuosity. No, the virtualis. I don't know, folks, not virtuosity, but the virtualness of what they do. There we go. They keep themselves behind a barrier of internet so that you can't actually ask them real questions. Real people would be asking them about this. They're terrified of it. They need to take action. I'm not calling for anything, but I am saying that any normal, sane company would not allow these sorts of people to say these sorts of things and potentially put the company at major risk. That's what I think. Panel, any other thoughts before we move on?
I think it's a perfect description right there. I mean, this is really irresponsible at this point. It's one thing to have a really bad take that everybody criticizes you for, laughs about, maybe you even get some viewership from. But this is a real line here that they are, I would say Disney is crossing without holding its talent to account. And so this is really almost uncomfortable to speak about, because we just never seen this type of behavior. And I would hope that shareholders actually revolt against this. The only problem that I see, though, is that, well, as Culture is quick to point out, 16% of the Walt Disney Company is held by Vanguard, BlackRock, and Blackstone. These institutional investors who really don't care, but to use the Walt Disney Company for their own ends and purposes. Maybe that includes this, and if it does, well, I don't think we're going to be seeing any relief there anytime soon.
Well, I'll just tell you, we've got about 1,500 of you listening and watching on X and YouTube. And we're not here to try to ask for your sympathies or, to label us with false courage. There are people out there who are absolute heroes, and we're not here to pretend we are. But I will say that there's a risk in even talking about this. And it's not like any topic I've seen in the last 2 years. This is getting shut down. Even the ability to disagree about it and say, you shouldn't be encouraging this, that conversation is getting shut down, and the people who say it are getting shut down. So there's some risk in this doing this, but listen, folks, I cannot sit back while these sorts of things are happening. And I'm going to apologize. I had offered to give you the last word. I still will. There's one more thing I want to add, though, here. And that is, folks, when the Walt Disney Company makes bad decisions, you sometimes don't go see their products. When the Walt Disney Company inserts politics into children's content, you sometimes say enough of Disney Plus. And when they do things you don't like at the parks, sometimes you say, I'm not going to park my car there, nor my finances, we're not going to the Disney parks this year because we don't like what they're doing. That's your financial decision making, and it's legitimate, and you get to do that. You're a consumer. Decide what you want to consume. Fine. But what you don't do is, when Disney does something that you dislike, You don't say, well, I'm going to go to the Magic Kingdom and I'm going to cause some damage. You don't do that. And you know why? Because you're not insane. And these people who are rabble-rousing the insane, they need to stop it, and they need to stop it now. Cut it out. And Disney needs to be quick to join what I'm saying and at the very least let these people know enough's enough. You're not going to do this anymore. Shut it down. That's my thoughts. All right. Well, with all hearts, minds clear, and thumbs up coming from Lauren Connor, we're ready to move on. And Vash, we have someone waiting in the wings. One of our panelists is here, and I'm so excited. Vash, I know you like to introduce, and I'll let you, sir, but perhaps we could let a different type of Mr. Rogers go get the door?
Oh, well, perhaps...
Who could that be? Let's go see, boys and girls.
And folks, it is real life fake wizard making his second appearance on the Pro Channel. RLFW, how are you, sir?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, that live action remake was the worst of them all.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, hold on a second. I'm looking at your beard, and I think I've seen that beard before. You didn't steal that beard from anybody, did you?
Well, you know, I spent some time with Culture Casino. I don't know if you've seen him lately, but he's beardless.
Oh, no! Donated to a good cause, though. Donated to a good cause, and it's never looked so stunning as on the Evil Queen with your face, with your facade, sir.
It is fitting.
It is, well fitting indeed.
All right, it's totally well fitting.
Real life fake wizard, we're so happy you're here, and we will be getting to the. Oh my gosh, he's even. No, we're full screening that. Folks, you've waited 2 years. You've waited.
My Snow White close up. My special. Look at it. It's even branded. It's official. We're ready to go.
He's a pretty girl tonight. He's ready. He's all right. What a princess. What a princess.
Oh,
folks,
yeah.
You've waited 2 years for us to do this review. We're doing it right, and Real Life Fake Wizard is bringing the hot sauce. Vash. There's plenty of that hot sauce raining down, though, from our viewers, and it's in the form of super chats. My understanding is we're about halfway to the goal for the evening. And yes, folks, tonight, if we hit the goal, we're going to be giving away more gifted memberships. Can't wait to do it. Vash, let's get to those super chats.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead. Packing Protons with $2, $500 to see it again. I don't think it's going to work this time.
Packing, I'll tell you what.
It'll work. I'll give you my account number. I'll get...
He can be bought.
Every joke I'm about to make gives something away from the review we're going to do. I started to make a joke about Dopey, and I thought, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. We got to save it.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, this is terrible. Backing Protons with another $2. Hi, Lauren. Evil Wilton smile.
Go fund yourself, Bob.
I just love picking on you, Lauren. Sorry about that. John Maynor with $5. Since Valiant was going first, I'll be watching him live.
Yeah, so Valiant should wind down about the time that we start the review. He is doing a members-only stream, but we do these, what would you say, 10 p.m. Eastern PM shows on the Pro Channel, and typically we do them on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Because Snow White came out on a Thursday, we're doing it today. And by the way, that means it has been a very long day for me, waking up early to do the Disney shareholders meeting, then nonstop coverage until about 3 p.m. Eastern, then raced to go see Snow White. And here we are, maybe trying to erase it from our memory very soon. I don't think it'll be possible. We'll talk about it.
Oh, it's going to be really rough. Go ahead, Lauren. I believe you were going to say something.
Nah, the moment's passed. Go ahead.
All right. Well, that's fine.
Sorry.
Sorry, we stepped on you, Lauren. I do apologize. But Angela Richter, we did not step on you, who gifted one WDW Pro membership.
Thank you, Angela. And I really do appreciate it when I see your name pop up and you doing these kind things. Let it be known, Angela. I don't want you to ever think that we passed by that and didn't fully take it in. We really do appreciate it.
Ooh, and here we go. Photon Empress with $100. Real life fake wizard is magic.
Fake magic.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Vash, did you make that music play, or was that real life fake wizard?
That was me.
I wish it was me.
Can I just say that when real life fake wizard threw his hands up in the air and the music played, I thought, does that guy have like a pedal with his feet that he can like turn? He can hit the sound bar with his feet. What is he doing?
They sell those now. I might buy one.
That's a good idea.
There you go. And while real life fake wizard might be magic, guess what, Photon Empress? You're shocking. I just got to say, Photon Empress, you're leading the way, but we have more than 1,400 people watching just on the YouTube side of things. You people must really enjoy suffering. Lauren, how does it make you feel to know that we currently have, it is 10:30 Eastern and 1,400 people have tuned in to find out how bad Snow White was for you?
You know, the thing is, I'm afraid people are going to be disappointed, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
Oh.
Did Lauren like it?
Well, that's what we call it.
I didn't say that, but
it's a hint, folks. You got to stick around.
That insulted him. The insult was on his face.
Yeah, it's like, look, I don't know how I'm going to say this without giving stuff away. I will say that I have a certain mindset on how I have to review a movie. And part of that involves trying to remove yourself from it and being as objective as possible. And so I'm going to try to do that. We'll see how it turns out.
I will say, Lauren, when it comes to the first part of it, removing yourself from it, I did that very quickly as the credits rolled.
What was kind of fun for me, though, was kind of seeing the reaction between my parents, because they did go with me. My mother was having a great time. My father was there.
That's right. And folks, I've actually got a clip of what Lauren had to say to Rachel Zegler as he entered the theater and she made a surprise appearance. Here's the clip from Lauren accidentally running straight into Rachel Zegler at the theater where he saw the film.
As a duly designated representative of the city, county, and state of New York, I order you to cease any and all supernatural activity and return forthwith to your place of origin or to the nearest convenient parallel dimension. That ought to do it. Thanks very much, Ray.
That's my favorite way we've ever used that clip.
Seems like a very tense situation right there. That's really something.
The idea that Lauren was telling Rachel Zegler to go back to her own dimension. That's great.
By the way,
we appreciate Photon Empress. Let's keep on rolling.
Oh yes, but I think we have somebody in the back right there that we want to go ahead and.
Well, no, he's too excited. I can see him in the background. If we do that, he's going to mess up the super chats. Super chats first, and then we'll let Rachel Zegler's cousin hop on in.
Oh, okay, you got it. Adrian Delatore with the $5. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. No message this time. But Dan's Life of the Kingdom has a message at 4499. I'm glad you guys survived listening to Princess Problems. Finally learning that life's not fair.
Let me say this. If you can believe it, that was not the worst. Oh, he's gone. That was not the worst song on the soundtrack. I was shocked. Gal Gadot and Evil Queen gets a Dr. Evil song.
Oh, Gals.
It's
I don't know if we're talking about it yet. Those were rough.
We're not, but I'm just going to tell you, in the middle of the movie.
RUFF.
Just the two of us from Austin Powers 2. That's what I thought I was watching in the middle of this movie. And I thought, what just happened? I'm in a Monty Python sketch right now. Anyway, keep going, Vash. We'll get there.
Seems to me you got princess problems. Here we go. JRG Projects, I believe, with the $5. Been waiting all day for this. Don't hold back, bro. Give us all the spoilers, and I promise nobody will care if you do.
Well, we are going to do a spoiler review, and in 20 minutes-ish, we're going to start. We're waiting for the rest of our panelists to join us as they escape the theaters, and they cease with their digestional issues. I made that word up. I'm going to use it. Digestive issues. And then once they're on the panel, cleaned up and ready to go, we're going to get that review going about 20 minutes from now.
Yes, sir. You got it. Master Blaster 3000 with another $10. Just saw a fan-made live-action trailer for Atlantis. And I've got to ask, why is Disney afraid of giving us genuinely great live-action remakes that people actually want? It was amazing.
You know, I had not... Atlantis was not on my list of live-action remakes that I am being... Folks, you can't see this. I am being mocked by our...
Okay, all right, so...
You know, he's back there mocking me. You folks, you can't see this. You talk about a professional show that we're trying to do here, and there's a freaking troll back there mocking everything I say and do.
Yes.
We'll get him in a minute. Keep the super chats flowing.
Yes, sir. Mr. Blue Sky with $4.99. Didn't think it would be worse than I was expecting, but I think my favorite part was the Epic Universe promo before the movie started. I did see that, Mr. Blue Sky. Yes, they had an Epic Universe ad in front. I believe the commentary was, it was a great flex. Even though that nobody was going to see it, they still wanted to put it in front of the movie.
And I'll tell you guys, so I'm actually doing this right now from the mobile studio, and I went to a theater that I'm not accustomed to going to. My wife's family, there's a wedding happening, and so I'm going to be out of my normal area for a couple of days while this goes on. So I get to go to a new theater. Well, when I go to the new theater, because I didn't know exactly where it was, I came in right as the movie was starting, so I didn't get to see the previews. But oh my gosh, I did not realize what I've been missing out on. Do you guys have theaters where the chairs lay all the way back practically into beds?
I didn't see that. I know my recliner goes about halfway.
I didn't have that for this film.
Listen, I thought that I needed to ask for a little blanket. I was so cozy. I was so happy.
I got you.
And then the movie started.
You know, I had a friend that actually saw the movie at the same time that I did. Across states, of course. And she actually fell asleep. So should have used your theater right there.
That actually begs a question for me. You said you had a friend that saw it. Do you think this movie is a greater threat to sight or to hearing?
Ooh, that's a really interesting. I think sight, because boy, oh boy, those casting choices. Yikes. We'll get into it though, guys. But sonically atrocious. Master of Puppets with the $5. IMO. Iger has a vendetta against Walt. He seems intent on destroying everything Walt has built.
At this point, well, let's put it this way. The things that Iger believes in are the absolute opposite from what Walt thought. Yeah. So how do you square those two things? I don't know.
He cares about his legacy more than Walt or anybody before him. He wants his own legacy. So forget Walt. It's all about Bob.
Well, you know, Walt wanted to build castles and amazing things that would delight generations, and Bob Iger wanted to build a giant headquarters building in New York. That's the two visions of the two men. Walt wanted an apartment above Main Street at Disneyland, and Iger wants his 15th yacht. That's the two men.
It's so very true. And Timothy Kennedy with the $20. How does one spoil a rotting corpse?
Well, what you do is you tell the audience about the two films that are very clearly not one film that got smushed together. Sort of like if you took a bologna sandwich and decided, hey, I've got a peanut butter sandwich over here. What if these two went together? It does not a great dance make.
It's a unique flavor.
Yeah, doesn't make a good dance indeed. By the way, folks, we are about 3 Super Chats away from our goal. I thought I'd update Pro with that. So, thank you so much for all the support. It is well appreciated. Ryan the Green, member for 7 months. As a disabled veteran, I would say you are a hero.
Well, no, we cannot go there. I'll tell you, I have known people who have been veterans. I have known people who have been prisoners of war, who have went on to form organizations that help other prisoners of war. I've known people who have suffered through debilitating illness without anyone knowing, so that others don't suffer along with them. Whether that's right or wrong, we won't get into that, but there are people out there doing heroic things, even in jest. Even in jest. We're not going to take the hero mantle for going and seeing Snow White, because that would be...
Weird.
But I do appreciate, Ryan, that you've turned from gray to green.
Got off the gray. That was my name.
Very cool. Love that. Doge with $2. Disney is officially not neutral and doesn't want to be.
No, that's what we're going to cover for a few minutes before we do the Snow White review. Is they are definitely not neutral, and while there may be pockets of moderation inside the company, largely not.
No, it's a lost cause there. Sandy Reese with the $5. We love you suffering, so the rest of us do not have to.
Well, oh boy, we'll be your whipping boy then for the evening.
Absolutely, 100%. Let's see here. Aurora Uplinks, member for 18 months. I sent Disney a 4th script with ideas to leading up to the vibrant ending for the Evil Queen with fun, epic fighting dwarves. Was hoping it would be used. Member for 18 months.
Well, Aurora, the one thing that I will say is that if you send any company your ideas, neither the company nor you will be able to use them. You can't use them because you gave them away. The company can't use them because it's in an ownership gray area with no contract between the two of you. So they'll just throw it away. Now, I'm not saying that to rain on your parade, but I'm saying that because there are ways for you to take your wonderful scripts, many of which we've read here on air. We love them. We think that you're one of the most creative people or persons out there, but there are ways to take your ideas and make them, and be exploring some of those, because you really are a highly creative and competent person who could put some great stuff out there.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I read specialist, member for 14 months, Lauren, choose Star Wars Episode 1 with Wilton or Snow White.
Well, that's an easy one. It's like when Episode 1 first came out, I saw it 14 times, I think. And during one of those, my friend and I had gone to see it together, and we did the whole MST3K thing throughout the whole movie. I can make fun of Star Wars and enjoy it. So that would be, in this case, Wilton and I would be allied, except for the fact that he's stuck in the back and is going to remain there for as long as we could possibly make that happen.
Okay, this is so. Okay, so.
That is fantastic.
So now, okay, no, okay, so I'm.
He's so bad.
Protons with the $5. Now you have to compare either Manos, Hands of Fate, or Birdemic to Snow White. Non-MST3K riff tracks versions. There you go.
We were riffing on Snow White in my theater.
What's that?
We were riffing on Snow White in my theater. We were doing the Mystery Science where I was, but that's because there were so few people.
I couldn't do it. There were kids in my theater, else I would have. There were times when I had to put my head in my hands though and go, oh God, oh God.
I did that a few times.
My mouth was agape at the screen at one point. I mean, I was just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Oh, it's so bad, folks, so bad. Terrorist with the 199. Oh, you see, they made me say it. Oh, darn you!
Power to the 199. Power to the 199.
Power to the 199, indeed. Phantom Dragon 3 with $5. This soulless monstrosity did do one thing right: universal unity and mockery.
There you go. Well, we're going to get to that again.
Exactly. Daniel Palmer with $5. They are incapable of making anything good because they are incapable of being creative. Just look at Epcot.
Yes, I would definitely agree there, but they can spend billions of dollars in a way that makes no one any happier except for them.
Exactly. Silent Koala with the $4.99. Why can't Disney come up with new diverse characters instead of race swapping old ones? Because they can't create compelling characters in the first place, no matter what race they are.
Well, I'll tell you this. When we get to the review, I think you all are going to be fascinated by the idea that I think Zegler probably hates this movie too. And we're going to talk about that.
It didn't put her in a nice light, that's for sure.
I can't wait to talk about why I think that, but I think Zegler hates the movie.
I think so.
Well, because it may have sunk her career.
Well, that too. That too.
Shenanigans McFanigan with $5. Walt is currently thawing, and he's going to be added to one of the latest and greatest animatronic bodies. I can't wait to watch him fight Bobby.
Well, that would be interesting. Unfortunately, Disney will probably charge us and put it on Disney Plus to watch that happen with Bob Iger versus Richard Nixon. They're thawing both of them, and yeah, it's I did more. Give him a hook. By the way, folks, I tried to do right then. If you're wondering, I'm in the mobile studio. I tried to do the thing where Nixon would do the kind of thing, And as I shook my head to do it, my headphones started to fall off, so I had to stop. So if you're wondering, what did Pro just malfunction? Yes, Pro did.
By the way, Pro, speaking of a malfunction, I believe we have caused a malfunction with YouTube because our goal was achieved. It says 20 out of 20.
All right, folks, you know what that means. When we hit our goals here, we mean to give it right on back to you. And what are we going to do? Well, we're going to gift out 20 additional memberships, sending that money that you donated our way right back to the folks who need it. So we're turning the chat green. There they flow, baby. There are those gifted memberships. 20 WDW Pro memberships out there in the chat. Thank you all so much. Very, very kind. All right, Vash, 2 more super chats, and then we've got to get to the next story, followed by the Snow White review.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and a Modern Scholar with $4.99. Ironically, like the very rich car maker, they called Walt a, well, not so good person from the 1940s Germany too.
Yep.
Yep, indeed. SWG Rice, I believe, with $10. Another old veteran here with mobility issues, with which somehow kept me from the movie.
You know, I'm going to say that more than that kept you from the movie. I'm going to say, you know, I just got a feeling. I got a feeling this might not have been your cup of tea either way.
Not good.
Vash,
you're not missing much.
Vash, we've held him back as long as we can. He has not stopped talking, even though he's been in the background.
No, we haven't. We have not reached that threshold yet.
Lauren, I've got to press the button. I'm sorry.
You don't. You are my fire. Though. Okay. So fine. You guys have no idea. I'm not like, okay, so someone else that I know, they're supposed to be building a puppet for Marvin right now. And I would just try to get on here so I could say, I didn't even need to come on here because Lauren already admitted to liking Snow White. I didn't even have to come on. This is just.
Lauren, I'm getting out of here.
Oh, gosh. Like,
I did not admit to liking Snow White.
Sure you didn't. Of course you didn't. No, you're just totally innocent and naive and just saying, no, guys, no. There's going to be a surprise. And we don't know what the surprise is going to be, Lauren. You're going to be like, actually, there was like this one historical thing that they put in there. And it was actually kind of cool. And it was like very nerdy and blah, 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 and dumb. And then you're like, we're going to be like, no, Lauren, that was all dumb. And you're going to be like, no, this is valid. I kind of actually liked these 3 other elements. And yeah, and Irate for $2 says, set them right, Wilton, because yes, I'm also streaming right now. Okay, so I'm streaming, you streaming, me in real time, and so technically my people are also getting a delay of my voice.
Wait a minute, Wilton, are you telling me that Floral from Under a Rock is live right now, and you are simulcasting on both of our channels?
Yes.
Wilton?
Hmm?
I'm just curious. Did you get this cleared with the big boss, with Floral?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because we need to make fun of Lauren. I mean,
Floral doesn't like it when you make fun of Lauren.
How's it going for you?
Well, it was going okay.
Go back and view the tape. Where did I say that I like Snow White?
You know what, Lauren? You and your fat gob, you need to just shut it.
Ooh, them's fighting words, troll.
Okay.
Speaking about gobs, hang on a second, Wilton. Hang on, Wilton. Why don't you just admit you're a little bit touchy about this subject? Because Snow White and the 7 Dwarves, I've heard that trolls and dwarves don't get along very well.
Really?
That's what I heard. You don't remember about getting kicked out of every single KFC in the nation because of the way you treated that person with dwarfism 2 weeks ago?
Are you implying that KFC has an abnormally large number of vertically challenged workers?
Dude, it's protein. They need to do anything they can.
I'm suggesting that Wilton goes to KFC. Well, he did go to KFC every single Monday and Thursday for their chicken liver combo special.
It's good for the ribs.
I just got to laugh. I see a comment here from the artist formerly known as John Kukask, JDLLM. You loved it, Lauren. You love Rachel Zegler. Well, I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you.
And hits Jonas right in the face.
Whoa!
I'm sorry, did someone like this movie?
Lauren did.
Yeah, Lauren did apparently.
That was the best thing ever. In fact, he's now gonna.
You're just happy you got the Wilton heat off of you. Stop throwing him my way, glasses.
All right. Well, Wilton, we want to thank you for simulcasting on both of our channels.
No, we don't.
And Wilton, we continue to recommend that you trollscape that puff of hair on your chest. It's not Sean Connery. It's more Austin Powers.
I was actually thinking I'd talk to Jerry Boring.
Jeremy Boring?
Yeah.
Well, he'll have more time to talk to you now.
Right.
Later. All right. That was bad. All right, folks, we're going to get to the next item. Before we do, though, Jonas, welcome to the panel here, sir.
I'm glad to be here. I'm not glad about the path I had to take to get here.
I think what you mean is you're glad to still be here.
I don't know. I've seen something, and it is
things he can't forget.
Well, here's the thing about it. It is a very forgettable movie, except that it is so attached to things that are unforgettable. Are we going right into the review here? Because this was one of the most insulting things that I have ever seen. And
we will.
And Lauren liked it?
After this. All right, folks, take a look at this. It's out of Deadline. Disney shareholders shun MAGA in rejection of, all of that stuff at annual meeting. This is out of Deadline. It's part of the trades, and one of the trades, well, they are the mouthpieces for Hollywood. This is from Dominic Patton, and boy, oh boy, is this majorly misleading and unnecessarily incendiary to a large portion of the nation. Disney is scrapping a lot of its diversity programs as Trump's war on inclusion intensifies, but its shareholders today made a very timely and strong rejection of MAGA, I suppose. In balloting at the Bob Iger-run media giant's virtual annual shareholders meeting, Disney investors solidly voted down an effort to cut ties with respected equality study from a top alphabet group. Following unanimous recommendations from the James Gorman-chaired board, the shareholders also said no to an Elon Musk-inclined measure to probe Disney's alleged moves in recent years to demonetize platforms, podcasts, news outlets, and others for expressing disfavored political and religious viewpoints. We have received proxies for approximately 7% of shares voting to approve the proposal for Item 5, relating to consideration of participation in the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, Disney officials announced after the voting on proposals was completed. Continuing the quote, we have received proxies for approximately 1% of shares voting to approve the proposal for Item 6. Now, folks, before we go any farther, let me explain something that no matter which side of this you might be on, you're going to know that this is true. Whenever you hear in any election whatsoever that there are two choices, a binary choice, two candidates, and one of those candidates gets 1%, you can throw that out faster than you throw out the legitimacy of a North Korean democratic election. There is no way, Jose, that anything ever gets 1%. Jonas, that is a very candid take from me. It is my strongly held opinion. Jonas, what do you think about the idea that Disney held this shareholders meeting where there were no actual questions asked to Bob, just virtual shareholder questions, and since Disney leadership, well, their shareholders could have been their own questions they asked. You had issue after issue of ways that Disney manufactured, manicured, siloed, and curated this session. Jonas, what do you make of the idea that now it's being used as a way to say that this was a repudiation of a political movement?
It was a repudiation of that. It was also a repudiation of the climate change stuff that was on the ballot. So I would say that. I would say that and this is exactly the reason that they go with this headline as opposed to the more true headline, which was that the proposals about climate change also rejected the proposals about fairness in the Elon Musk one. Okay, technically it's about Elon Musk, but it's actually about GARM. Elon Musk is not mentioned in that proposal. Disney also in their proposals, they took someone else's proposals, and then when they put them on the proxy ballots, they renamed them how Disney saw fit, which was something that unless you're following the actual SEC filings of the Disney company, you wouldn't even know that these groups complained about it. They put their thumb on the scale. And also, I think the margin for error on these things is 3% anyways. So 1%, okay, could have been 4%. In a very underwhelming and poorly publicized year for this company, I think everyone is exhausted at the idea of fighting for the Disney company on the corporate boardroom level at this point. This is not a repudiation of anything. If anything, it's a repudiation of people's interest in the future of the Disney company.
Things are not going well for Disney, so whatever the repudiation might be, I don't know that you would gloat about it. By the way, folks, if you have held Disney stock for 10 years, you have less money today, and we're not even talking about inflation. You have less money today than you did 10 years ago in 2015. The stock was over the $100 mark in 2015. 10 years and the stock is down. That's incredible. Vash, they also bury these kinds of questions down at the bottom. All of this was set up in a way to make sure that you get a 1%. And again, folks, I'll say it again, and you all know this is true. You find any election where there's two candidates and one of them gets 1%, you can throw that out the door. That is total propaganda every single time.
Yeah, I think that's just the initial vote totals as well. I think there's a process by which they really count everybody up after the fact or whatever. So a decent time for headlines, and I think Pro U astutely pointed out that they had a lot of text there for something that the media didn't quite know what was going to happen, or at least we think that's the case there. When the Walt Disney Company says, "Hey, look, listen, vote no or vote yes," they usually all just vote. A lot of people have their stuff in mutual funds and so forth. So you got these big institutional investors voting with other people's shares, and they're just going to go along with what the company actually says. I don't really see this as a big repudiation on MAGA, just on that specific proposal for the reasons listed right there. It's kind of similar to how you have one party, another party, not voting for a bill, let's say, and you look in the bill and it's like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have voted for that either, or would have voted for that featured text there. So I don't really give this much credence right here, but I do like Jonas's assessment where people are just kind of done trying to change the company for the better. It's like, you know what, they're going off and they're hitting the iceberg. There's not much we can do at this point.
Now, Vash, you brought up the article that came out very rapidly. So this is another trade. So people understand that the trades are, again, the mouthpieces of Hollywood. March 20th, 10:33 a.m. Pacific time. This is literally minutes. And the way you can know this is minutes after the vote happened is because the shareholders meeting started at 10 a.m. Pacific, and they had videos and all kinds of stuff. And then they did the discussion of how the meeting was going to progress. And then these were not the first items. Within minutes of this vote happening, Variety and Todd Spangler had this article up. Disney shareholders overwhelmingly reject proposal, yada, yada, yada. And if we scroll down, folks, you can see that this is not a short article. It doesn't seem to me possible or likely that this article was just generated within minutes of that happening. Seems to me that it was prepared, and how they would have known and been able to prepare is up for you to decide. Panel, I'll hand it to you, Real Life Fake Wizard, Lauren. If you guys want to hop in on this discussion, you're welcome to. I know it's not necessarily the forte, but it's here our way anyway. Your thoughts on the idea that this Disney shareholders meeting with the Disney stock dropping is some sort of political repudiation?
I can't really talk too much to that. I'm behind on the news of the full day. I didn't get to watch everything with the shareholders meeting at all, so I don't really know everything. What I do know...
Hold on a second. When that happens,
yes,
and a host comes to you on a show like right now, we have more than 2,000 people watching. The correct way to handle that in the future, as an up-and-coming, exploding, meteorically rising YouTuber, is to say, well, Pro, I think it's a real paradigm shift, I tell you, and I'm watching this and the synergies that are happening with great interest. And then everybody will blink and think you're the smartest man on the panel. He said,
well, but I'm still, there's still a point where I'm going to with it, though. So it's not, okay, I know where I'm kind of going.
That was a bit. I apologize. Go ahead, sir.
No, it's the same old. I've seen all of them before. So just because I didn't see this one, I've watched all the other ones with you guys, and it's the same old just putting on the song and dance. It's the dancing monkey. But on top of that, we're in a very, very, very unique situation right now where all of the major brands associated with Disney are collapsing and they're not improving. And today, and what we're going to get into is just a marker of that, of how this company does not care about course correcting. It doesn't care about any of us on this panel, doesn't care about any of us here in the chat, doesn't care about you at home. And they're going to do whatever they want to do. They don't care about their investors, in my humble opinion. And so I don't even, unfortunately, I don't care what they say anymore. I can't take them seriously. I'm done. I'm out. I'm apathetic. I'm here. I've got an outfit on, and I'm going to cover it in good objective faith, cover Snow White. But other than that, like, I'm done with Disney.
Darn it, folks, he's going to do it in a wizard's hat, a beard, and a Snow White costume, and you all better just pay attention to the greatness. By the way, real life fake wizard, that was far better than my suggestion. Do what you do. Don't do what I say. Lorne, I'm going to give you a final word on it. Your final thoughts. Yes.
Really, I think you guys have pretty much covered it. I don't really have a lot to add. The only thing that I would say is that obviously they're putting on these highly staged investor meetings, as real life fake wizard just said. They have kind of gotten where they understand what the incendiary questions are going to be, and they're going to do everything that they can to avoid it. They're not planning to change course or make corrections in the social issues where we would like to see them tacking towards the middle. They may try and skirt around it and to get a little less heavy-handed in some of their productions, and they might diversify a bit in saying that we'll have more targeted stuff here, less targeted stuff there. But when it comes to the stock price, I think it kind of speaks for itself. I think that they're going to have a very rough patch coming forward for the rest of the year. I don't think that they have a lot of good things on the horizon to talk about. But I still think that because the board is handpicked by Iger and Iger is still in charge, unless the investors seriously start turning the screws, and remember, most of those investors that have the power to do so are the big hedge funds that aren't the individual investors like us in the audience, it's going to be difficult to make them change until they have no choice whatsoever.
Well, it's an interesting thing. I want to go ahead and ask Pro this. If this is supposed to be a repudiation on MAGA, and yeah, I mean, we're not seeing much change at the top right there. Is this also kind of a semi-endorsement of Dana Walden as the next CEO, despite what Matthew Bellany has recently reported regarding her association?
I knew that's what you were going to ask. And the answer is, unless they go with an external candidate, yes. All right, folks, as Jim Carrey says that Walter Cronkite might have expressed, that's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, speaking of cookies, let's get our next panelists on. It's time. 2 years in the making. Snow White review in a few.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
Weird.
All right, folks, we are joined now by Nolan Thunder and Kevin Apollo. Gentlemen, you've made it just in time, and we're happy that you come our way. Welcome once again to the show. Before we go there, though, it's time to get those super chats. Vash, get them up on the screen.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and get these up right here. We have Ewan Kimia with the gifting of 1 WDW Pro membership. There you go, right there. Thank you so much for that. And I believe we have Timothy Kennedy, who is a new member, and I actually don't have it in front of me at which level Timothy is at. I'll go ahead and look it up in the background right here. I do apologize, but thank you so much for becoming a member of the Pro. Greg.
Jonas, how does it make you feel to not get to read these super chats? Are you feeling envious yet?
If Vash had been a little quicker on it, or knew that there was a member level to be announced, I'm just going to write this down for the next quarterly review here.
Ouch.
Oh, no.
Kevin, you have human resources experience. Can you do that? Maybe help me get a PIP together.
Jonas, what if I told you that he's also passing 3 kidney stones as we speak, just to prove he's that kind of man?
Yeah, I was having a debate on whether the kidney stone or Snow White was the better experience.
I have an answer for you, Jonas. I really do.
and Lauren liked it?
We'll get there, folks. We'll get there.
Yes, indeed. All Greg 699 with 499. I am convinced that Disney used an AI chat GPT for the last 3 movies that they came out with. It explains why they feel so soulless.
Yep. I'll go there for Captain America: Brave New World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's all.
Yeah, I think
Snow White too.
The movie Captain America: Brave New World literally ends with Captain Falcon being defeated. Spoilers, folks, if you care. Being defeated, and he looks at Red Hulk and is like, "Hey, what if we don't?" And Hulk's like, The end.
I will say that both movies end because of empathy, which is like, okay, guys, I would have preferred the stabbing that we were going to get.
That's what Jonas always goes for in a movie.
Ryan the Green with 499. Not for seeing Snow White, but for standing up for what's right and always telling the truth, even when it's controversial.
Yeah, we're going to keep it that. It's not. Listen, the world turns into a bad place if you don't do that, and the consequences of staying silent when you need to speak out. Short term, it may look scary to do so, but long term, it's far worse. You just haven't considered the full possibilities if you don't do what's right in the moment.
I agree with that. Sandy Reese gifting 5 WDW Pro memberships.
That is exceedingly kind. Thank you so much. We truly do appreciate it.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
And the gigawatts keep on flowing because Neo also gifted 1 WDW Pro membership as well.
Thank you so much, Neo.
Because 1 is an anagram of Neo. That's why it was 1 WDW Pro membership.
Oh. It's a connection I didn't actually make right there. That's going to be on my review. Fantastic. Paul with $2. Hey, we're trying to simulcast here from The Rock.
Hey, I'm looking for someone named Trinity out in the chat for super chats. And then also, if there's anyone out there named Google or Googleplex, we would really like for you to drop some gifted memberships.
I feel like a Googleplex is like a wrestling move.
The Googleplex. Oh, he gave you the Googleplex.
Right in the Googleplex right there. Very nice. Emily Angel with the $5. My mother and sister just left to go see Snow White. Let's take a moment of silence for the time that they are wasting.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Thank you. That's a sacrifice right there. Fayota, member for 19 months. I really think Disney is now a big Ponzi scheme.
I didn't say it.
It's a fair point. They're going from Wall Street Quarterly to Wall Street Quarterly, hoping that no one notices. They're really hoping no one pays attention to the quality of the product. So
nobody asks questions.
You know how many trailers they put on my screening of Snow White? They're like, no, don't pay attention to how bad this one is. We've got Lilo and Stitch. We got Elio. We got Freakier Friday.
After the 5th Lilo and Stitch trailer, I was like, enough. I kid. All right, Vash, 2 more super chats, and then we've been waiting for 700 days for this. We're going to do it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, we will go ahead and do that. Tara, with the wrist there, with the 199, Snow Woke, and the 7 pronouns. It's pretty good. And then the Pixel goes with the $5. Bless you, Wilton. It's great to see you tonight.
Yeah, I feel like the amount that we're seeing Wilton right now in this moment is the exact right amount to see Wilton.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out of season April Fool's joke?
All right, Vash, it is time. Let's hit it. All right, we're going to start off, folks. I'll give you my initial thoughts, and I'm just gonna zip it and get real quiet and listen to the panel. We'll have some fun. Everybody, take a drink of whatever you have, unless it's no, don't do that. If it is a liquid which you should consume, take a drink every time you hear the word weird. And if you hear weird, Well, you know it's going to be a double dose, okay? Because this movie is weird.
Weird.
All right, here are my brief thoughts before I hand it off to the panel with the official Snow White review. This is clearly a case of two movies smushed together, and they do not work. I mean, they really don't. For the first third, you think that this is maybe going to be a cogent cinematic experience. Not good, mind you, but it's following the Snow White story. Once she decides she's going to leave the dwarves, we suddenly go into a completely different film that's not all CGI, shot with morning light, and instead we get the film where Snow White was supposed to be a socialist liberator taking down the evil queen. And there are several places where we know and you can see that this is two films. In particular, I would say that the ending, and we're going full spoilers, who cares? In the end, there's a part where it's the first movie's ending, and Snow White has formed the rebellion and beat the queen, and she starts to go towards the castle to escape. And the dwarves are there all of a sudden in their own little cutaway with nobody else with them, and you're like, oh, the dwarves were inserted in this movie. And then the queen just bypasses them like they're not there and gets back into the castle in a cutaway. It's obvious this is two movies. There's also a part there are inconsistencies here that make the film not work. A small child might enjoy it, or somebody who is fine with turning their mind completely off. Who knows? Maybe other panelists are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. But for example, when the queen is asking who's the fairest of them all, either she's asking about fair skin or she's talking about justice. And in either case, she can't be the fairest of the land, so why is she mad at Snow White? It doesn't make any sense. In another situation, Snow White tricks the guards who are out to get her by having birds fly her dress around a tree. When this happened, I'm watching it and I thought, well, this is interesting. Zegler's going to be in the buff. And then she just had her dress still, which means in the movie that Snow White was all the time carrying a full-blown extra piece of apparel. I'm talking about the full-blown dress, the puffiness and all, had it in her back pocket the whole time and just handed it to the birds. Was like, here, this is an extra. Trick those guards for me.
Speaking of which, the captain did stab that dress. So
yes.
I think he was supposed to bring her alive, but I don't really know. But yeah, there was some stabbing there. That should have been a foreshadowing.
For no reason.
Should have been a foreshadowing stab. That's what I'm saying.
I'll say this too as I hand it off to you guys. I want to get this last one off my chest because, well, it bothered me.
Yeah.
The dirty hippies are there. And the dirty, like at one point, they call out a dirty hippie name like you're supposed to know who this is. And you're like, oh, that's because the dwarves came in, so we had to cut out the getting to know the dirty hippies because they're like, Mabel sure does like so-and-so. You're like, who the crap is Mabel? Oh, it's a dirty hippie that we never got to meet. Well, let me tell you this, okay? Because of the backlash, the prince does, in fact, save Snow White. And then we get the finale to the first version of the film after we get the finale to the animated film that they went to. But the prince does smoochify Snow White and save her. And there's a really weird thing where Doc becomes a doctor, and there's no way that was ever in the original film whatsoever. I'll wrap up by saying they start off by looking a little bit like the Garbage Pail Kids. They get better as time goes on, surprisingly, although they always look like weird cartoons.
Yeah.
People with real dwarfism would have been far better. I did like the storyline with Dopey. I thought Zegler can sing. I thought the middle song with Gal Gadot was akin to Just the Two of Us with Dr. Evil. And this film gets a 4 out of 10 from me. Panel, it's now in your hands. Go.
If we're talking about the hippies, I do want to point out that there are 7 of them, and they have about 3 lines between them in the entire film. So if anyone wants to say that those people were always going to have the part that they had in this film, and that no, they always intended to have those CGI dwarves in there. No,
Jonas, one of the dirty hippies. Jonas, one of the dirty hippies is a dwarf. It's a real person with dwarfism. So when the real person with dwarfism is standing next to a CGI dwarf, it is the weirdest freaking thing I've ever seen on a silver screen.
Yeah. The dwarves were off-putting, to say the least.
Yeah, like really bad garden gnomes come to life.
I'll also say, since I'm talking, by the way, I give it a 4 out of 100. This movie,
I gave it a 4 out of 10. You cheater!
Wow, it's not 4 out of 10.
Jonas gets a 0.4.
This film is so bad, and by the way, there's 2 characterizations of Snow White that they switch back and forth on in this film. There is the sweet Snow White that they obviously added later in production when they reshot the beginning of the film. This is also shot worse than I would say The Descendants and High School Musical have better shot construction than Snow White.
Ouch.
By the way, insultingly called Disney's Snow White. Like, that is not the biggest bunch of horse poodoo.
Well, it should have been Snow White and the 15 side characters.
Valiant Renegade put it best when he said there are 50 people in this entire kingdom. This feels small. It feels tiny. It should have been shot on the volume. Why is it that every time the queen wants Snow White killed, stabbed, whatever it is, she turns to a black guy that says, hey, why don't you, hey, huntsman, why don't you go and kill Snow White? Later in the movie, she makes a magic dagger, and who does she go to? She goes to the black guy. He's just standing there and says, hey, you stab her.
Jonas, her spell book literally says that the apple makes you fall asleep this time, right? The poison apple is supposed to kill her. That's the whole point of the first movie. She makes Snow White fall asleep with the apple, and then she doesn't kill her. She just leaves her to sleep, like take a little snooze.
I just want to point out, Jonas, that black guy's name was Paul. You use his name.
It's true. I was waiting for her to what Anglo-Saxon name is she going to give the Asian guy who's standing there in this super diverse town that everybody has a white sounding name?
That was the most diverse. That was the most diverse German town I have ever seen in my life.
Gerald the Asian Guard.
Every nationality was represented. I'm pretty sure I saw Eskimos in Germany in the 1800s.
It's just enough to fill up a soundstage. I mean, it was really something right here. I couldn't believe, and the casting choices. Oh man, I mean, where do you even begin? This thing is horribly cast through and through. I don't think anybody really, has kind of earned their part, so to speak. And even maybe you can say, oh well, director, they were foisted, these actors. Well, you kind of tailor your project to the actors' strengths and weaknesses in that point. That's not what happened right there. The Gal Gadot's number, my jaw was on the ground, guys. I was looking at the screen aghast with what I was actually seeing. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe they were going in that direction right there. It is really something to behold. That scene needs to be studied for just how awful, terrible it is, and just tonally, I mean, it should really be not part of this film in any way. But yes, you can tell that there were big inconsistencies with Rachel Zegler, her performance, and her costuming. It was very clear at one point that, oh yeah, they went with the wig, and that wig changed considerably throughout the course of production. I just very, very inconsistent. You can tell the reshoots really, this film was meddled with to the nth degree, and while it is somewhat coherent, you do have stuff that just doesn't make any sense. By the way, when the huntsman delivers the box back and is supposed to have her heart, it has not a pig's heart like what was depicted in the original Snow White. Oh, no. They went with an apple. And it's like, okay, the Snow White has to be the dumbest person on the planet when you get that box with that heart in it that you don't hear it rolling around. What do you...
Well, let me say this. And Vash, I agree totally. People have been waiting 2 years for Lorne to say what he thought about this movie.
Please.
So real life fake wizard, tell us what you thought.
You know, Lauren, you give it too much credit, okay? You give this film too much credit. Pro gave it a 4 out of 10. Jonas gave it a 4 out of 100. This is a 2 out of 10. This is not a good film. There's nothing redeeming about it. Even the dopey thing. At first, it was like, okay, it might be okay. They're doing this little dopey thing. It's a little endearing. I like that. Oh, wait a second. He spoke?
But he sounds like Josh Gad. He sounds like.
Why does he sound like that?
Let me
He's
just
the narrator
also
for the
point out
film,
that
by the way.
Since when is Dopey bashful? Like, seriously.
I actually thought that he sounded like Joe Mackey when they were first playing the thing. I was trying to figure out why is Joe Mackey narrating this thing. But yeah,
I thought, did they seriously put Olaf in this? And I have to suffer through this.
We had the same question. My wife and I went to go see this, and there were 8 total people in our screening. By the way, I had someone reach out. They wanted to know, Vash, if the seats that were occupied in your screening, if there were actually people in those seats.
Yes, there were people in those seats, and actually, I mean, some of them were big Disney fans. You can actually tell. But I was asking people after the film actually took place. I was like, "What were your thoughts on that?" It was like, "Ooh, that was interesting." Another person.
They're gonna be like, wait a minute, aren't you that fellow with the Pro Channel?
I'm sorry, I totally cut off Fake Wizard. I don't know if I should call you Real Life or Fake Wizard.
Or you can just call me Fake Wizard or Wizard. It's fine. It's a long name, but it's a nickname.
All right, Wiz, get
it's
to it.
RLFW.
Yeah. This movie, there's nothing coherent about it, like you guys have been saying. But worse than that, if you think about this for more than 5 seconds, or you try to be like, oh, well, did the plot make sense at all here? It doesn't make sense. There is nothing but conveniences from scene to scene. So narratively, it's just a choppy, broken mess. The acting, I've heard, I've seen tweets, I've seen people say this, and I wish I didn't see that before I walked into the film because I wanted to come up with this myself. It's medieval times. If you've ever been to medieval times, that's how this movie feels. It's you don't believe any of the performances. It is so overly acted that you're not buying anything. If there's one shot where they all jump over a tree, the hippies and the fake prince and Snow White are talking, and you could look at the other two, and they're all just like doing the fake head, looking around as if they are the most background actors of all time. Gal Gadot, I don't know what she was told to do. But this wasn't it. The song, the Waiting on a Wish that they're really pushing makes no sense in the context of the film. You mean to tell me that she's been here trapped for 12-ish years and she's never thought about rebelling at all? Like this is it. What was they tried to treat it like this was the call to action moment, and it was not deserved at all. And then nothing happens of it. So the Waiting on a Wish, the song is not bad. It's a good song in a bad movie, and that's a shame. Like it could have been better in something else. And I'll tie up with this because I know I want to hear Lauren's and Nolan's thoughts too, and also Kevin's. This is aggressively bad and aggressively terrible is what I walked out saying. The problem with the movie like this is that you're going to see a lot of people, and chat, you've seen this too. Oh, it's for kids. This is for kids. Who are you to judge a movie like this? It's for kids. Okay, go back 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, all of Disney, and you have intelligent, well-written films for children and families. There are no excuses here for this to be so mediocre, offensively mediocre, and so unfulfilling to the source material, to Walt Disney's legacy, to Disney's legacy as a company. It's unfair to destroy this story like this. Because there are going to be kids now that's,
by the way.
Yeah, there's going to be people who sit in the theater and watch this, and it's going to be the first time they experience Snow White, and they're going to say, that's Snow White. And that's a shame because those kids, it's going to be robbed for them forever.
Very, very well said. We're looking right now at the theater where Vash went to go see the film, and it is as empty as you might have anticipated. I do now seriously want to go to Lauren. And Lauren, as I go to you, let me give you this question, because I think this.
Wait a minute. Wait, before you do that, has Kevin given his opinion?
I didn't see it. I'm just here for the ride. You guys did all the fun stuff that I could have contributed while we were at bar.
I'm interested to hear your opinion, though.
Listen, Kevin is enjoying the pummeling of poor Snow White. Nolan, you have seen the film, correct?
Yes.
Nolan,
Look at the sadness in his eyes as he nods. Yes, Your Honor. I have seen this film.
Nolan, I think that Rachel Zegler hates this film. And the reason that I think she hates the film is because she told us when the first script was there that this was not, she didn't need a prince. He could be cut out. Nolan, having seen this movie, I would have loved to have been there when they filmed him saving her, True Love's kiss, waking her up, because I would have loved to watch somebody say, no, you're going to lay there and he's going to kiss you and you're going to wake up. I don't care what you said. This is what we're doing now.
And it's going to look super awkward.
Very awkward.
Weird.
Yeah, no, that must have been horribly uncomfortable for her. I don't know if you want me or Lauren to do a review first, but I will say in regards to like her acting this film, I think it's actually like might be a minority here, but I think she's actually a very good actress and a very good singer. I think it's just a case of she is horribly miscasted in this role. Her smirk that she always does looks more like Elsa than Snow. She has no connection and personality to this character. And it gets frustrating because, as you know, I look at her performance and I just want to focus and be, in love with this world, all the bright colors and everything, and just see a tried and true Disney princess. But I keep analyzing her psyche and the actress throughout the whole film. And it gets to the point where it's like, you start looking at it and you're like, yeah, she probably hates every word she says. There's a huge message towards the end of the film, which I think is actually a great saying for this day and age, where she chooses, instead of going for violence, which we've seen unfortunately a lot in our world lately here, and she chooses peace. And I just think back in my head, little record scratch rewind, I just remember when she basically told half the nation, I hope you never know peace. And it takes you out of the flow. I think she's competent, but the problem is her actress acts more like the villain of this movie. And yeah, I'm with you. I think there were reshoots that happened here, and I think it takes out of what could be a more traditional Disney experience. And I agree.
No, I thought that Giselle's world from Enchanted was more believable than Snow White's.
Yes. Well, it's probably because, there were people that actually truly loved what they were doing, as opposed to cracking the whip from the top, being like, hey, make this more like the OG stuff. Because watching this, it's like, I feel like there's a better movie in here. There's a lot of good messaging, I feel like, deep down in its core, where it's like, I'm happy, especially after seeing some of the depressing stuff we've been covering a bit on the Genre Guys about all the crazy people trying to kill people. I like seeing some positivity. But the thing is, it's just engulfed in this huge mess where they're trying to basically intertwine. What in God's name is that? They're trying to intertwine.
Everybody's chuckling it up, and I'm just going to see what in the world it is that has Lauren so tickled. Lauren, what are you laughing about while Nolan's trying to give his review? What are you
Nolan
doing?
was being very positive and saying that there's a better movie in here, and Vash was having none of it. He was going,
no.
This is a
the better movie is 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That's where the better movie is, because it ain't here, and it ain't gonna be here with this crew, with Rachel Zegler or anything else. That is, you're gonna have to disabuse those feelings, Nolan, because it ain't here.
Whoa, no. There's negatives too. Don't get me started on good old Elf on the Shelf we're supposed to feel sympathy for towards the end when he starts actually talking and narrating the movie. The dude looks like the whole dwarfs thing is like, what kid is going to get excited over these guys? They are creepy as heck. And then you see them next to the dirty hippies, which, by the way, that was the official name in my head throughout the whole movie. I never learned one of those suckers' names. It's dirty hippies to me for the rest of my life.
Jonathan and his band of hippies. Now, come on, Nolan, you're going too far. Dopey became a professor emeritus in this movie. He became a literary. He has a doctorate in literary studies. Jonas, are you going to try to defend Grumpy? What is it you're wanting to hop in with?
No, I just want to point out that there are two scenes in the movie that I don't know if they're reshoots or I don't know if they're the original, because at this point we don't know what is the anything with a dwarf in it. I'm going to say is probably a reshoot. And the scene where the boy sings "Princess Problems," I think that's the original characterization, probably the one that Rachel Ziegler signed up for, where she's a bit of a nag, a bit of a pain in the butt. I think that was the character that she signed up to play, and then she's incapable of playing the sweet, kind, innocent Snow White that they ended up making the movie about. There were so many missed opportunities in this movie. If any of you have ever heard of subtext, apparently the writers of this film have not either. Everything that happens in this movie is said out loud. Everything. Like, we represent the king and we're searching for the princess. Oh, well, thank you, guys who are shooting at us from 40 feet away. We don't have the princess. We're a bunch of bandits. I mean, any thought in someone's head is being said out loud. If you want to know how someone feels about someone, you don't have to wait. They're just going to tell you exactly how they feel about that person.
I'm going to tell you another movie where that works perfectly, and I think it's why the movie works, is Big Trouble in Little China. Every character in that movie announces their name, their purpose in this scene, what they're doing, and what they like and don't like, almost to demonstrate exactly what you are not supposed to do in writing. And because they do it believing in their character, it's hilarious. This movie doesn't understand you're not supposed to do that.
Big Trouble in Little China is an intentional comedy, though. And again, there were several times in Snow White that my wife and I both were struggling so hard to not laugh out loud and ruin the film for, adults, whatever. But there were two kids in the screening, and we're not going to ruin it for them. But wow, laugh out loud. Bad acting. There's some scene where she's like turning around in slow motion and realizing she's in love out of the blue with that Lord Farquaad haircut and that rainbow dress. Like, what in the world is this? Or the fact that she does Whistle While You Work, and the girl literally picks up one piece of clothing and throws it in a bag and is ordering around all the dwarves like a harpy.
And their house was clean when she got there. Clean, man.
She doesn't do anything.
The dwarves are mean and not just grumpy. Like,
right.
If you are familiar at all with the 1937 classic with great orchestrations in it, wonderful songs. If you know that film at all, you will not like this film. And why do they do things in this film? Well, because why is there a creepy scene where she's running through the forest? Because there was one in the original. Why is she wearing that ugly dress? Because the animated version, it actually looked good on her. This is again, I keep going back to this. This is an insult to the original.
They hit the beats, Jonas, but they do them worse than the original. Like you said, she goes to the forest and she falls down this pit or whatever, and she gets, she gets immersed in water right there. She has to swim out, so that's where you see her hair kind of doing that thing. By the way, her dress. Yeah, loses her headband, and we never see that again, which is iconic to the Snow White imagery, but that's a whole other story. Her dress should be soaking. That's all dried up. That's fine. She's not going to catch a cold or anything. It's fine. But then she's supposed to collapse and break.
The deer a piece of soggy bread, which is unusually dry.
But that scene, though, Jonas, was she supposed to break down in that moment? Because she was just, she was just thrust out of the life that she knew. She's in this place that she, doesn't recognize. She's very, she doesn't have any experience whatsoever on the outside world. So that's why she breaks down. And she's supposed to, you're supposed to feel sympathy for her, and that's why the creatures come out and so forth, and they get her back on her feet and so forth, and she carries on. In this, Rachel doesn't do that. Oh no, that was Snow White of before. Here, she just looks that creature dead in the eyes as if she's going to go ahead and take it on. I mean, it's just that's a character moment right there, and they fouled that one up. She goes to the Snow White's cottage, and she looks around. She doesn't say anything. She just goes right up the stairs, sees the bed, drops in it. there's some amazing character moments where, you have the original Snow White go, hey, look, are these little children? What is this? I mean, this is so odd. This is so interesting. Look at the beds. They're so tiny. Yeah. Oh, I'm tired. That kind of thing.
You're forgetting the absolutely ridiculous looking and goofy, off-putting animals that were in this that do not match the style of the rest of the film.
Don't you make fun of that turtle. That was a happy turtle.
I will say there was one time that I smiled in this film.
Where did the hedgehog come from, Jonas? Why was there a hedgehog?
The hedgehog.
The movie ends, folks. I know I'm redlining on the mic. I apologize. I don't want to blow anybody's eardrums, but the movie ends with a character you've never seen before. It's a smiling, happy hedgehog who just out of nowhere comes into the screen. Is like, well, guess this is how we're going to end the movie. Let me wave at you.
He was in the house. He was in the dwarf's house.
And the hedgehog did start out on the book, by the way.
In Germany. There was a random German never mind. Jonas, you know what? Actually, we've got to go to Lauren. But as we go to Lauren, I want to say this. One of the weirdest moments I've ever had in any movie was when these stupid goats came in Thor: Love and Thunder. And I literally looked around the theater and thought, what am I watching? Like, what kind of acid were you on? Folks, these goats in that psychedelic warp speed tunnel with Thor, they look absolutely normal in comparison to every minute of Snow White. And with that, Lauren, you liked the movie, I hear.
Oh, wait, you were serious?
No, we're not serious. Go ahead, Lauren.
All right. So you're going to have to give me a long runway here because I have thoughts.
Go for it.
I'm going to get the first part out of the way because I know this is what people are waiting for. I agree with Jonas. This is a 2. But I think my thoughts are probably going to sound pretty disjointed. The first thing that I want to say is thank you so much to the audience. Going to this movie was like getting punched in the nose immediately because here's what happened.
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
No, you don't. You don't know what I'm going to say. Believe me. So I did not want to go to this theater and walk up to the table and say to the ticket taker, 1 for Snow White, please. I did not want to do that. I had planned to take my son. He would be my excuse. This would be the thing that did not make me look like a creepy person going to this movie. And my son had the perfect out. He had practice tonight for his worship team at the church and was able to beg off so that I had to go. So my parents...
What you don't know, Lauren, is that he begged the worship team to do this tonight.
My parents volunteered to go and watch this movie with me. But the theater is only 5 minutes away from my workplace. I get off work at 4 o'clock. The movie starts at 4:15. It takes me about 7 minutes to get to my truck. I had to book it to the theater to go and get the ticket. I don't have time to get snacks or anything. So here's what happened. I walk through the door. I walk up. It's an empty parking lot. It's basically me and my folks, and there's a couple other people there. I go to the ticket taker, and he says, "How you doing?" And I said, "I'm about to be much worse."
This is funnier than any joke in Snow White, by the way.
You haven't heard it yet. I said, 1 for Snow White. You know what he said to me?
You poor son of a gun.
He said, adult or senior.
Oh.
Oh, man. That's how this little adventure started.
That's so bad.
So I was already feeling kind of bad about what had happened, and this.
So that whippersnapper.
This snotty little kid. Anyway, the next thing that happened was my parents were already there. They'd already bought tickets. They had their snacks. My dad asked, "You want to get a snack or something?" And it's like, I don't really have time for this, but yes, I am kind of thirsty. So I decided, yeah, I'll go get a slushie. A small slushie for $8.
Yep.
So this is how this happened. But then we go and we sit down. And we're the only people in the theater. And then a couple of people come in behind us and they sit down right in front of us. And we're talking for the couple of minutes before the previews start. And then that couple gets up and they walk out. And Dad said, I wonder where they're going. And I said, they realized what movie they're sitting in. Some other folks did actually end up coming back in. Some of them had kids, so they were allowed. But the movie starts, and here's where I think I'm going to go off the rails for you guys, because I know I've been kind of beating up on this thing, but I want to lay some groundwork for you so you understand how I'm approaching this. I wanted, before I saw this movie, to watch the original Snow White, but I didn't have the opportunity. I have not seen the original Snow White since I think I was in grade school. So my memories of, you Yikes. So anyway, my memory is kind of fuzzy about the original movie, and so I can't really directly compare it. So when I approach going to a movie like this, I try and be as objective as I possibly can. And what that means is I have to separate, for instance, my feelings about Rachel Zegler and the actress from the role that she's playing in the movie. I have to separate myself from everything that I know about the reshoots, from everything about the effects, all of that stuff. I can't review the movie that was or could have been. I have to review the movie that's in front of me. And so I had to try and go into it thinking that I know nothing about this movie. Let's see where it takes me. And I guess what I would say about it, there's the whippersnapper now, is that I guess I would start by saying Rachel Zegler has a much better voice than what I was expecting. I thought she actually handled her singing duties well. I do not believe that she is the character that she's portraying in the movie. And I tried to separate myself as much from knowing what she is like as I could, but she's almost trying too hard to be the sweet and noble Snow White. I don't believe that anybody is like this. And as you said, in the cleaning scene, it's pretty blatant how she's not doing anything and instead just having everybody else do it. Now, there are a couple of scenes that, no, I did not get the senior ticket. I write specialist. You people. There were a couple of scenes that I liked. Now, one of them is when she's going through the deep, dark forest. For a moment there, I actually liked the imagery and thought, oh, maybe this is going to be better than I think it's going to be. Ultimately, I think Jonas is right. This is kind of a Descendants level production. Another thing to say, I kind of detest musicals for the most part. I don't mind music numbers and animated features. But every time somebody started singing, it drives me crazy. I get pulled out of it immediately when you go to that stuff. So that doesn't work well for me.
I like musicals, and I was still like, are they gonna sing again?
Yeah, it's every.
We were yelling at the screen, "Sing about it!" Oh, they're upset. Sing about it.
Yep.
Sing about it.
Yeah. Other than that, I think the only thing that I would say is that for me, the dwarves actually worked a lot better than I thought they were going to. But here's why, and here's why I think they're off-putting for a lot of people. If this were a straight animated movie and they were not against live-action actors, I think that they would probably work. But once you start putting them against real people and having the contrast of all of that stuff, you run into that uncanny valley kind of territory, and it just doesn't work. And the other problem is that if you were going to make this fully animated, now you're competing with the original, and that's never going to work. So this was always going to be a doomed production. It was never going to work. But here's where, this is what I meant when I said I think your take on it is going to be, my take on it's going to be different than what people expected. Here's why. I'm fine with what they did because I'm not the target audience. As I left the theater, I was thinking about it, and it's like, you know what? If you're going to do a girl boss movie, this is where you do a girl boss movie. I'm not going to tell them to do with their stupid Snow White movie because I don't want them to tell me what to do in Star Wars. So I'll stay out of this. You stay out of my sandbox. If we can make that deal, then we can go forward.
Can I push back on that a little bit?
Yeah.
And absolutely.
Wizard,
with
you
respect.
go first.
I have a question, and this is for the whole panel. Can anyone explain what fearless, fair, brave, and true means in the context of the film, other than words?
It means that with $75 worth of goods on your order, you can get free shipping on the DisneyStore.com.
Because Lauren, you know, I agree with that. It's like, all right, well, this is their movie. Okay, but it means nothing. Like it in the context of this movie of itself, like, that even when they want a girl boss away, it's not working because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
I'm
don't disagree. That's why I gave it a 2.
I'm going to point out something about this that is really the problem with this film is everything that happened in this film has been done in either a Disney animated film or specifically a live action remake. The fearless, fair, brave, true, which 2 of those are the exact same word, they're synonyms. So like, who cares? And also, why is true on the list at all when fairness and it's communism? By the way, if we have not clearly said this, it is literally communism.
Yes.
in the beginning of this film. It's probably the only contribution Greta Gerwig had on this before she literally asked them to take her name off of this film.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
7 writers, by the way.
Cinderella.
That's funny.
Cinderella, the theme of the Cinderella live action remake, which I think is pretty high on the list in my opinion, is one of the better live action remakes that they've done. Shot by Kenneth. It was Kenneth Branagh who directed it, and has great style, great production value. The theme of that is have courage and be kind. It's pretty much the same thing,
right?
But it actually plays into the themes of the film. There are so many things in this, like literally the line "run away and never return" from Lion King is literally said near the end of this film. Or they have the male hero from Tangled. It's just this weird blender of different Disney elements that just keep recirculating over and over and over again, and none of them are Snow White. They're scared of the actual elements of Snow White. I found myself actually smiling at some point in this film when they started singing Hi Ho, and I actually thought, oh wait, this reminds me of the film I like, which is the only reason that it's in there, because then they go into a mine. There's no currency, by the way. There's a bunch of gems. No one's trading anything.
Hey, I got a question, Jonas, about this mine. You've brought this. Remember, folks, I told you that when I went and saw Love and Thunder, that those goats make Snow White look normal, or excuse me, Snow White makes the goats look normal. Jonas, just as an example of this, since when do the dwarves have magical power where their hands light up and they can suddenly cause an entire mine shaft to illuminate? They never talk about it. These freaking dwarves have a crazy superpower where their hands start glowing and they can do weird, powerful, magical things, and it never comes back again in the entire movie.
That's because that's a remnant of them being magical creatures, not dwarves.
But at the same time, it doesn't play into the plot. It's Chekhov's superpower that never gets fired.
But you know what does happen?
Apparently, they can raise the dead. You know, just throwing that in there.
Wait a minute. There is a superpower, because remember how the whole conflict at the end of the movie was resolved. It was Snow White's ability to recall names. Now that is a great superpower, and that's what sets, I think, Snow White 2025 apart from its princess.
Because she has low-level autism. Yes.
Listen, is this how it works? The Not Prince gets shot through the heart with an arrow, and Doc takes him in there and uses his magical make the mines glow power to pull the. I don't understand this movie. And then they think he's dead, and he walks out and he's like, "Oh, that was really unpleasant, but I'm not dead. I'm good now."
I'm going to point out that was a great opportunity for a joke, and it did not land. They needed one comedian to go over this and say, "No, don't say it like that. Say it like this. No, yes. Do it like this. Don't do it like that." Again, this is the 1937 film is a masterpiece, and this is a travesty. They said no to "Someday My Prince Will Come." They said no to "I'm Wishing." They said no to "One Love." all of the songs that are essentially the theme of the entire film. The swell at the end and the music at the end of the film is literally "Someday My Prince Will Come." They take so much out of this film, and for some reason, and I don't, maybe I wasn't following the plot perfectly. For some reason, at the end of the film, the mirror tells the queen, "Yeah, you are better looking than her, but she's a better person than you," and then the mirror explodes and turns her into black goo and sucks her into another dimension.
Yes.
And then a hedgehog.
That's true, chat.
And then a hedgehog jumps on the end card and waves at you.
It is wild. It starts out with once upon a time there was a queen and king. It actually says that line twice there. Which
yeah, it starts with queen. There was a queen of the kingdom.
Right. There's a queen of the kingdom. King's just there. And then queen, I don't know, passes away, I guess, because I don't know why. They didn't really go into it. And then king, he steps it up with Gal Gadot right there. This film is absolutely atrocious. The color grading is terrible. It's very flat. You can see every single detail. There's really no there is no contrast to speak of, which is very unfortunate right there. It's somehow both oversaturated and not saturated enough. I don't know how you do that. This film does it, and it does it in spades. It was very painful to look at, very painful to experience. Amateurly shot, by the way. Some of those camera angles are just straight on. I mean, it's just very, very low effort right there. I really don't know which one was painful, because some of you know that I've been, passing a little stone to the kidney right there. I really don't know which one was painful. Seeing what I was seeing on screen or having to pass a kidney stone. Because it was really, really close. And yes, I was actively passing it as I was watching the film. So it was painful. But I think I would have taken that over seeing this film. I got to be honest. This was a rough one. It's terrible.
Forgot to mention that for some reason the evil queen can produce anything out of diamonds, including a dagger.
I did want to mention a couple of things about that, though. Is that one? I think that Gal was the only one who looked like she was actually having fun making this movie.
Yes.
And the other thing is, did you notice that in every scene that she appeared, she had more jewels in each scene? It was kind of like the trooper hat in Super Troopers, which I thought was. I actually thought that was kind of a fun gag.
The Cracker Jack box jewels. Yeah.
I thought it. You know what?
Real quick. Culture, here's the recap that Jonas gave us. I'm going to add one step to it so we're fully accurate. Okay. The end of the film is the mirror tells the queen that she's not the prettiest anymore, although she is, but it's because Snow White's nice. Then the mirror explodes. The queen, because the mirror explodes, is turned into a black goo monster who's then sucked into another dimension. Here's the part we forgot, folks. That leads us to a Broadway musical where everybody's dressed in white, but there's no real reason for it. And then a hedgehog jumps on screen and waves goodbye.
It's like teaching the Blazing Saddles.
But wait, I thought they were promoting the end of the Shrek movie with Lord Farquaad. Leading the new theme park that they were building with Disney's money.
It is the Lord Farquaad wedding outfit that she's wearing at that point.
Yeah.
Culture, please help us make sense of what we just watched.
No, because I'm having trouble. I will say this. I spent an hour trying to record a review video, and then I did one, and then I didn't mind so much about the editing. So tomorrow's going to be fun for those of you watching that. I had nothing good to say. So that's why it took me multiple passes to make this video. And then I realized that maybe I should have stuck with the original. So in my description, I'm super mean about this movie. This movie's Vash did a good job there at the end. This entire film is poorly shot. And whether it's a straight on angle or Dutch angle or whatever they decided to go with at the moment that they were inspired to try to change whatever is going on here, it made me realize that not only was the shot multiple times, they couldn't stitch it together. This is the worst made patchwork quilt you've ever seen in your life. Trying to remove the political messaging, not only failed, but it failed at an epic scale, because what they were left with was, still the messaging, just like little diluted doses along the way. I really appreciated that this was a wonderful advertisement for the Seven Dwarves Mine Train, which I don't think I elucidated very well in my review. So there's that.
Culture, did you understand why the dwarves have the power to light their hands, and then that
magic,
and it's that we never go back to it again? Culture. So you didn't get that either, because I'm.
Hey, they said in this place we're magic. She said we're magic. I'm sorry, there were 2 lines in there that said magic. So there you go.
So you're like, if they had crapped a Jaguar right there in the mine, we'd just
would have been
like,
fine.
oh,
In fact, I feel like recently there have been crapped out Jaguars. I saw an auto show with them in there. But,
oh boy!
But beyond all of that, I will say that first of all, I feel like that was great. They did almost a scene by scene shot of the attraction. Too bad they didn't do it of the original film. But I have to tell you, I really do appreciate the detail they did do, which was Dopey's eyes through the gem. Thank you for that. Beyond all of that, none of it made a lot of sense. I don't think it was supposed to. The 4 or 5 seconds left of my time here, because it looks like I'm being shown the door. Anyway, I'm kidding. The film itself was an attempt. I don't know what they attempted. It wasn't a Snow White film. They really did try to mute the girl power message to no avail. This is a Mary Sue with no accomplishments. I mean, even in the film itself, she didn't get unearned accomplishments. She didn't get earned accomplishments. She got no accomplishments.
Does she, Culture? She never learns anything.
Well, neither did we. We don't know how any of this worked, which is a big problem in a movie.
But it was the songs we enjoyed along the way.
No, I hated everything that was made. I felt like Disney went on the cheap and didn't bring Lin-Manuel Miranda in to try to match what the original timelessness was of the original score and all the musical numbers.
What did you just say? Lin-Manuel Miranda
would have been a better option than what we got.
Alan Menken. Well, I mean, Pasek and Paul are fine. I don't really.
No, they are not.
Or any of this.
Did you see the same movie I did? Well, no. We're done here. We're done here.
They don't match the style, but they're asking them to make things that don't match the style. I don't blame them. They're fine for the things that they do. They just need to do
not this movie.
Lin-Manuel Miranda does not belong in Snow White.
Nobody belongs in Snow White.
It's Stephen Schwartz. Alan Menken.
Jonas, I love you, and you know that. But the only way to make this movie is to do it shot for shot. This was an abomination beginning to end.
The problem with the shot for shot is they don't know what they are doing. They don't know why they look.
Dude,
they're the cargo cult. They're the crazy people in the Caribbean islands that saw what the East India Trading Company was doing and tried to mimic that, thinking that they would become gods, or the people that after the soldiers left that found the air traffic controller rods and thought they could summon the great metal birds from the sky. They do not understand what they are doing with this.
Dude.
They are children with finger paints saying, hey, look what I did. Where's my $400 million?
Okay. And while that might all be true, it's also George versus the volcano version of Snow White.
The Joe versus the volcano, the Waponi Woo. At least they were fun.
Well, not in this movie. I don't care what anybody says. There was nothing fun in this movie.
Soulless corporate product. And what's worse is I think that the original product was actually saying something. It was just going to say something stupid about how we all need to be communist.
It still got there. We still got there.
That out.
They didn't.
Created bland corporate. It was a dumb communist message. You know what they should have done? They should have made the evil queen correct.
Is there a smart communist message?
No, this was definitely a neo-Marxist communist message. There was a bloodless coup, Lord, bloodless coup.
And the queen is like a representation of capitalism from a communist perspective.
Well, you're 100% right.
We're going to have to break it, though, because Lauren is going to be leaving in just a few. And Vash, super chat.
I'll tell you what it is, though. It's communism with a king and queen who have
no, it wasn't
ultimate power.
They were dead. They were dead and Canadian in this. Are you kidding me?
Therefore, it is a fantasy.
We'll come back to the royal commies in just a few. Vash, do we have any super chats for Lauren?
Okay. Let me go ahead and just check real fast here. I believe we have a couple. I believe he did respond to them. Irate Specialist 199. Did Lauren get the senior ticket? He never said it.
No, but Rachel looked him up with the senior ticket.
There is a gesture I would like to make, but I'm not going to.
Well, make it towards Toonie Town TV. Marvin out there with $5. Your pride costs you money, Lauren. Take the senior discount.
That's right.
There is only so far that my pride will allow me to fall.
If they gave you a senior slushie with a bonus Metamucil, you take it every time.
Exactly.
We're going to talk in the next couple days.
Sorry, Lauren. Mr. Blue Sky with $10. Agree with Lauren. There's a couple of shots like the woods that were pretty good. Only reason it gets 2 out of 10. I can't even imagine what this was originally going to be.
Oh, dude. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, the Chinese are going to love the lighting because it's permanent golden hour for freaking ever. And I was done with that almost immediately. Then they layered the pink fog of doom on top of it all. And I was like, what is this filter and how do I get rid of it? I honestly kept cleaning my glasses. It was so bad. Anyway, go ahead.
The dwarves were blurry, which was really interesting. That's
because
how you know
because of the pink weirdness. I'm like, hey, you don't understand how grain filters work. You're trying to make it look more like theatrical and like it was film. It was not. It was so bad.
Very digital nature to the print there. Paul with $2. Wilton was right. Lauren liked it. Did I hear right?
What?
No, Culture. I did not say that I liked it. What I said was that I gave it a 2, but that I was trying to be as objective while reviewing it as I could. And the bargain that I'm willing to make is that I am not the target audience. And what I said was that if you're going to do a girl boss movie in a modern sensibility, this is the one to do it with, because the bargain I will make with you is that you get this movie, now stay out of my Star Wars.
That's not happening.
I'll say it for you, Lauren. This movie is objectively bad. It is terrible.
You're going
to see this film.
You're going to get a 2, or are you not getting?
And I'm all I'm going to tell you is you're going to get like some
Star Wars.
you're going to get some kind of Mangoo Star Wars thing that's coming up here, dude. So anyway, Mangoo-lorian.
Lauren didn't like it. Lauren didn't.
Look, okay. So wait, is that a 2 out of 5?
2 out of 10. Sorry.
If
we're going out of 5, then
okay, all right. Then I'm gonna ease up on some slack here, kid, because I gave it a better review than that.
boy, how we just switched chairs there quickly.
I guess I should have asked. Were we all going off the same scale? Because I assumed we were going off a 10.
No, my 4 was a 4 out of 100.
It was 100. Yeah.
Mine was out of 45
By the way,
and a half.
Did you see that somebody gave it like a 14 out of 30 on Rotten Tomatoes? I was like, what?
What? Hey, Lord, before you go though, we got to play one thing for you. You got to see this.
I want to hear it.
Not right now.
Yes, now, Dusty Bun.
Wait. Okay.
The crab people shall finally reign supreme.
Crab people.
That's you, Lauren.
There you go, folks. That is the response to the crab people. Lauren, tell the folks out there where they can find you on this great, big, beautiful web before you hop off for the night.
Right here.
We hope for a long time. We're worried now, folks.
We love you, Lauren. We really do.
All right, Lauren. Thank you so much, man.
Sure. I'll be thinking of all of you.
That sounds very.
At least you're not dreaming about us. That'd be weird.
That's
well,
right.
Remember, a dream is finite.
It's a wish your heart makes
Exactly.
when you're fast asleep.
Yep. All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you all soon.
Later,
Hi,
Lord.
So much got rained.
You can catch me on the internet where I stream constantly until I die.
Well, that's what I do.
The super chats while we can, and well, look at that, Criticalus, I believe.
Right there, 4 out of 100. Thank you very much. I go sleep now.
You go New York.
I'm gonna follow you, Jonas, right after this.
Is that heinous?
Okay. There's way too many. What are we doing on this panel? This is starting to sound real gay up in here.
Up in here? Up in here.
Whoa.
Hey, look.
That when it's below 40%, it's anus, but when it's that low at 4%, it might just be anus. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that sounds an awful lot
Okay.
like Princess
Problems. Maybe I was not harsh enough on this movie.
That's right.
You weren't. It's a
All right,
one.
here we go, folks. Let's start hit these super chats, and folks, you hit the goal, and you went way beyond. 20 WDW Pro memberships were gifted by the channel, and we want to thank all of you. We try to give that back to you guys when you give it to us. Vash, I'll hand it over to you. Continue going with these super chats, sir.
Absolutely. Hunter with $1. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to go ahead and go at a little bit of a pace here, so please chime in if you feel the need. Paul with $5. So no quieting the noise, no getting away from politics. Continue fighting parents and over 70+ million people. So they lied to us all this time. Indeed.
They are going to moderate in pockets, but the vast majority of Disney does not seem ready to change one iota.
Indeed. Mr. Blue Sky with the 499. My other favorite part was when she became the son Al Gaib.
Listen, there are all parts of this movie that don't make sense, and that might be one of them.
When she transforms into the evil witch, it's just absolutely atrocious. Not even just the makeup, but she doesn't even change her voice. She's just like Gal Gadot speaking. It's so weird. Wes Trueblood with third. A member for 5 months. Think this might get Kennedy fired.
You know, this has as good a chance as anything at this point.
Exactly. Gary Knight Beast with the Canadian $2. So could it open to 45 million? It's Hollywood BB.
It could, yes. Having seen it, it should not.
No. Dude, this is Mufasa levels of not great.
Oh, Zephyr, member for 23 months. Wine, cheese, and crackers. Oh, yeah.
And crabs.
Suffer! Okay, sorry.
Sorry about that. Tyler Golan Sinky with $4.99. Plays the Wonder Woman music when I see the evil queen, Gal Gadot. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait.
Paul with the $2. I want to know what the apple was used for. Not making pies, which they reference multiple times. I've never actually made a pie.
Well, you know.
There were pies.
Yeah, at the very end. Yes. Yeah. Timothy Kennedy with $10. Comrade Farquaad and the filthy hippie uprising. At what point do people finally wake up to the Disney hoax?
Okay. Boy, if this doesn't do it, I don't know what will. This is not.
They either know or they don't care now.
That's right.
Wow.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Gilliam II gifting 10 WDW Pro memberships.
No,
Hercules. Okay, sorry.
Thank you so much, Gilliam, for that. Tyler Golansinki. I can't. I'm having trouble with that name. Sorry. With the $10. First time outside of Camp Marvin. Movie monster. So greetings, especially to Killer of Bears, Kevin,
welcome.
Indiana Lauren, and even you, Norland.
Killer of Bears?
I have a long man. I have a long-standing feud with the Bears in my neighborhood.
Okay. I love bears.
Well,
I am the bear whisperer.
I don't know if I should be more scared. Go ahead, Nolan.
He literally scares off bears by shouting at them from
Okay.
his car to make them go away.
Maybe they're trying to be friends, Kevin.
I don't know if it's scarier that there are multiple bears that live in his neighborhood, or if it's scarier that he actually terrifies said bears.
Who are the people in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood.
When they see you, they see next to Ken there, huh? Doesn't work for everyone else. Tony Town TV with $5. Lord has revoked Nolan's man card.
What?
He did that a long time ago, man. He did a long time
No. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. Nolan's man card is intact. Dude has stuff you've never seen. He has programs and videos to tell you about amazing things and places you could be that you can't. But he does that.
Abilities.
Culture, you're amazing.
Why? In what way?
Because you're just a great person, okay?
Oh, don't tell anybody.
Karen Owen, member for 23 months. A better movie is the 1916 Snow White that Walt's off. Dwarf characters and names come from there. It is streaming on Tubi, free of View, and Fox gets the ad money, not Disney.
Well, we will definitely have to send people over there to watch that. Tubi, folks, Tubi. Go check out that version of Snow White.
Timothy Finch with the 500 yen. Remember when Disney's Once Upon a Time did the strong Warrior Snow White thing 15 years ago and still kept the loving romance and in-character casting?
You know that I remember that.
I do too.
Yep.
Those were better times. Yeah.
Phantom Dragon 3 with $5. Old Disney, love is the most powerful force. New Disney, we define love now. Oh, you're straight? You're better off alone, living with hundreds of cats.
Or in this case, rabbits. Hundreds. She's a rabbit woman.
You know, wait. I have to interject. There were a lot of magical creatures in here, and they weren't the dirty hippies.
And terrifying CGI chipmunks with smiles on their faces and giant tails. Where did chipmunks get big tails?
What was the roly-poly thing? Was that supposed to be a porcupine?
Hedgehog.
Oh,
Hedgehog. Random hedgehog that ended the movie out of
Oh,
nowhere.
by the way, so the only things that matched up with the original film was a book at the beginning and the end.
Yep.
I was sad. I was like, hey, oh, you suck.
All those journal with $2. But guys, she's a real-life Latina icon.
She's a supernova, I tell you.
I thought she's a real-life Polish icon.
Pro fan MX with 50 MX $50. Will 2025 be worse for the studios than 2024 was?
Yes.
Will this put even more pressure on parks profits this year to
Yes.
compensate? Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
And Epic Universe surely isn't going to help them.
No. Tyler Golinsinski with $4.99. Golinsinski. I thought Rachel was okay in the Hunger Games prequel. To be fair, I didn't realize that was her, but now there were signs of trouble. I should have known.
Hey, okay, Tyler, my friend, I'm going to tell you this. She was the action star of the year for that film.
Mr. Blue Sky with $4.99. Not the goats.
The goat.
Terrible. Patricia Sutton with the $4.99. Smiling Hedgehog. Homage to Sonic.
No,
no. Look, this is really cutesy, and if you've seen the attraction, there's a roly-poly little emerald that's rolling about.
That was a drunken dwarf culture.
No. I've been on that mine train thing. I'm just saying, there's definitely
that animatronic was real broke that day.
Okay.
Jay with $5. Don't take your kid or teen with you to see Snow White. They will never forgive you. The ones that hate you will call CPS. I think that's a reason there. Culture Casino with $5. Don't go anywhere. I am coming to rant on Snow White soon, and rant he did.
And we stayed here for you, sir.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. I believe the Phantom 22. If I'm not mistaken, the FTM 22. $2. OT Princess Leia was the original girl boss. Yes, done much better than Rachel Zegler.
She was not the Mary Sue. Different idea.
Oh, I mean, this is one princess I could get, but you can't say that. Princess Leia was definitely, she was a feminine. She was good. I like her a lot.
She's good. She's real good. She's, you know what? I'm starting to think that culture had a thing for Princess Leia at some point. I don't know why. It strikes me that there's a possibility of that.
My favorite color is light tan. My favorite animal is puppies. I like serving the Lord, hiking, play volleyball.
You gotta be kidding me. Everything you just said is my favorite thing to do every day.
Wear clothes. Oop, almost forgot that one.
Every kid saw Return of the Jedi. There you go.
I have to defend myself here. It was Aaron Gray, Princess Leia, and Farrah Fawcett.
Not a bad list.
Nice.
Big Blue Horses with $4.99. The hero of the film, Gal Gadot. She did the best job with crap script, crap direction, crap music, crap CGI, crap lead actress. Did I mention crap? Yes, you did. And I don't know, maybe been miscast. Gotta be honest with you. David Maddox with
the old witch thing did not work whatsoever.
Well, okay. So I've started to feel like that was like Sharon Stone, right? Just without makeup.
I don't know, man. They didn't want to act. They don't want to make fun of ugly people, so they weren't willing to do prosthetics. It was so weird looking.
What was that? What's the other? Oh, Meryl Streep. Could have been Meryl Streep.
Could have been.
Yeah.
David Maddox with the $10. Lauren, your review made me almost leave Earth laughing. During the favor, I say, with an ending like that, who needs drugs? Sorry about that. Didn't see this in time. Very much apologize.
Don't worry, because Lauren goes to sleep listening to us continue live streaming.
Yep. Absolutely.
I don't think he's
Elizabeth Loveland with the Elizabeth Loveland with the 1999. Apollo's kitty cat is so cute.
True.
Yeah.
True that.
No lies with that.
Given the fact that he terrorizes bears, you're required to say that. It keeps us all safe.
Yeah. I agree. Cyrano with the 2960 with the $2. New culture merch, dead and Canadian t-shirts.
I'm working on them. Dead and Canadian. Yeah, sorry. Some of you know the joke, some of you don't, but it's still funny.
Mr. Blue Sky with $4.99. Bob's emphasis on telling great stories must be starting after this movie. Remember, he was the head of creative at the time that this was approved. So there you go. Kenneth LaRoche with the member for 17 months. Thank you so much. No message, but thank you.
And thank you for being here.
Aldo's Journal with the 199. Snow Zegler or Adam's Apple Evil Queen. Choose one.
It's Snow Zegler, because look, let me tell you, no matter what you think of Gal Gadot, she gave everything here. Plus her auto tune was the most not convincing.
It was tough. $2.89 with $5. Ha! I don't believe it. They're literally, not figuratively, already removing a Snow White billboard near me on Wilshire Boulevard here in LA. Hilarious.
Wow.
Dude, baby. This is Indiana. This is Indiana Jones' Dial of Destiny speed.
Ooh. That by the way, that's a Hollywood bad nightmare. Like you're driving down Wilshire, you're like, that was my billboard. And then the next day you're like, where's my billboard?
Was my billboard.
That was my billboard.
John made it with $5. The squirrel chipmunk looked like it came right from Enchanted.
Oh, no. Okay, I will say the magical creatures, they were the only convincing things in this movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody else was a figment of a bad dream.
You take that back. I was thoroughly convinced that those dirty hippies did in fact smell bad.
Well, wait. That was the smell-o-vision that you were experiencing.
Yeah. Oh, you could smell them off the screen right there. Bad sets, bad backgrounds, bad everything. Big Daddy Cool ID, I believe, with $2. I would rather see the death of Snow White.
It actually happened. Look, I felt like that if that Burnap guy would have just stayed, chained up a little longer, we'd have been better off. Marv!
Oh, hey guys!
For the last 5 minutes of the show, Marvin, how are you?
I was hoping to see Lauren, but I guess he came for the early bird special.
Yeah.
Yikes!
Ouchie, man. All right, well, we're about to head on out. Marvin, before we do, is there anything you'd like to add to this Snow White? What would we call this? Extravaganza?
You guys are just making me really excited for what I have to do tomorrow, which is go see it at Disney Springs. So
there's still time. There's still
By
time
the
to
way,
not
Marvin,
go.
as the editor-in-chief of thatparkplace.com, I really think you should see it twice.
Oh,
just
boy.
for the full effect. And
I think there are reasonable expectations to make of me for my role as editor-in-chief of thatparkplace.com, and that's not one of them.
Uh-oh. All right, folks. Well, before we go, Real Life Fake Wizard, tell the folks out there about your channel. It's at a meteoric rise, and let them know why they should subscribe today.
Yeah, I'm the Real Life Fake Wizard. Love hanging out here. Gonna be working on a Snow White video. Should be coming tomorrow with a lot of ranting. So that'll be fun, covering entertainment commentary just like this. But back to you guys. This is a lot of fun. That movie was awful.
It was indeed. Nolan, I'm going to let you plug your stuff too. Let the people out there know where they can find Nolan Thunder and what you do on this great big beautiful web.
Thank you so much, Pro. Well, if you like old internet mysteries, everything with media, particularly video games, I talk about old video game urban legends and hoaxes, rumors, canceled games, and all that stuff. I present in kind of a documentary series style, much like those UFO shows you would see on History Channel, like Ancient Aliens. There's props, there's 80s synthesizer music that's custom made for the show. It's a mini documentary and a little bit of comedy and B-movie horror sprinkled in there. I've been working on a new episode for like the past 8 months, and it's finally almost done. Thank God. But yeah, it should be dropping on my channel here hopefully soon. So you can find me at my series Lost in the Files on my channel at Nolan Thunder. And always an honor. Thank you very much for giving me time to plug it.
Oh, by the way, wait, ladies and gentlemen, Pro, I hate to interrupt, but there's a reason why he looks like the original Doctor Strange. He's going to be the next Doctor Strange. So you should be excited about that.
There you go. Folks, it's been a strange night, but 2 years in the making, we finally saw Snow White, and it is everything we expected it to be in all the worst ways. Folks, as we get ready to leave out tonight, make sure to smash that like button. We're going to send you to Good Logic. And remember, if you have problem with bears, call Kevin Apollo. He'll be right there. The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So, folks, as we always say as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.